Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Center for International Governance Innovation, or CIGI as we say. My name is Fred Kuntz. I'm the Vice President of Public Affairs at CIGI, and I'd like to thank you for attending this very special presentation at CIGI today, featuring Muhammad Yunus, Nobel Peace Prize laureate. And in just a moment, our special guest will be more properly introduced. I just wanted to mention that we do have a webcast. And so if you're watching at home, we welcome your questions as well later on through the web chat function on your screen, and we'll transmit those questions to our speaker. If you're watching here in the auditorium, you can ask questions, if time permitting, at the end from the microphones at the aisles, and there'll be volunteers at the microphone. If you ask a question, we'd like you to keep it as brief as possible, please, and to please state your name. And so now, I'd like to call on the president of CIGI, Rohinton Medora, to introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Fred, and let me join Fred in welcoming all of you to the CIGI auditorium for our very special guest who joins us today on a nice summer afternoon in the region. It's often said that here we have someone who needs no introduction, but today I think this is really the case. Dr. Muhammad Yunus needs no long introduction because he's so well known to all of us, and so I will not spend too much time introducing him and his career in detail, except reminding us that he began trained as an economist in the US and was teaching at a college in Chittagong in Bangladesh, and in the village next door noticed several, particularly women, who were beholden to local moneylenders. This is in the mid-1970s, and whose lives had become miserable because they were infinitely paying back that loan. And so from his own resources made a loan of about $27, $28 in 1976. And that today has become a multi-billion-dollar movement, which we associate with microcredit, with social business, and indeed with the Grameen Bank and the Grameen movement. Along the way, Dr. Yunus has garnered major recognitions. Fred mentioned the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. There was also the World Food Prize in 1994. That's often called the Nobel Prize in Agriculture, the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009, and the Congressional Gold Medal in 2010. But as he often says, the greatest reward is having had all the achievements and to continue to strive for what remains to be done. So with that brief introduction, Dr. Yunus, welcome again.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm very delighted to get a chance to be here, and also a chance to meet you and can share our experiences that we have gone through. I have a particular attraction of coming here because Jim was the basic attraction, because bulk of my time is spent on BlackBerry. So I want to see the guy who made this happen for me. And people get so serious with this little gadget. We say, now this is a BlackBerry prayer time. You take a position of a prayer. We put in our schedule that after this, and then you have a BlackBerry prayer time. So you use your time to get connected with the rest of the world. It makes life so easy to be anywhere, but still remain in touch with everybody else. So I thought I should pay my respect and meet him and see all the work he's doing. This is amazing what technology can do to the world. And this is a key point in my life. I was always pushing how to bring... I'm not a technology man. I fumble with everything. But I see the power of technology. And I'll mention how mesmerized I was by technology and try to bring it in whenever I can, whatever I could think of. I'm sure people smarter on technology can bring so many other things. Our work started with lending money to poor women, very small amount, and trying to get them out of the clutches of the loan sharks. That was the whole idea. And when it worked, I feel very thrilled that it worked. When it was not a pre-planned action. And that's what I think I should emphasize. I was not thinking of lending money to people. Suddenly I got into it. I got so furious to see how a human being can be so cruel to another human being. In the name of lending money, they just take away everything from the poor people, whatever they have. So out of that desperation, I jumped at it. And the idea was, why don't I lend the money myself? If I'm so angry with them, the solution is I lend the money and stop the whole thing. So I did that. And that's how the whole process began. And then in the process, we built a whole bank out of it. It began in 1976. In 1983, we made it into a formal bank. There's a lot of stories in between, but I skip all those. And then we started expanding it to the whole country. The controversy began, several. That's what I want to highlight. One, poor people can take money, but they cannot pay back. And I was showing that they're paying back. They said they will pay back for a while, then they will not do that because you are putting pressure on them. That's why they are paying back. I said, I don't put any pressure. They do it because they see the big possibility in front of them. By paying back, they can take more. Oh, it may work in a few villages, but it will not work everywhere. I said, we'll see. I mean, we don't have to make a judgment on that one. As we go along, people keep coming to us. That's how we respond and go to the next village and the next village. So it's not us deciding where to go, how to do it. And they say the poor people, you have to look for the entrepreneurial poor people, people who have entrepreneurial abilities. I said, I don't look for any entrepreneurial abilities, I just go and lend the money. I'm a simple guy, I don't go into all those calculations and so on. I don't have a test who is entrepreneur, who is not. Somebody wants money, I give the money. No, it won't work that way because only very few people, particularly among the poor, would be entrepreneurial poor people. Particularly you won't see among the women. Women are not entrepreneurial. I have heard so many of it, so much of it. And finally I started taking a position. I said, look, you are making a big mistake. To me, all human beings are entrepreneurs. Not just here and just there. Every single person by birth, they're entrepreneur. A human being means an entrepreneur. It's in the DNA of that person. You can't take it away. No, it's not a work that. I said, that's the way it works. For me, I see, I don't reject anybody. So in our system, there is no question of rejection. It's simply a question of who wants to join when. That's about the question. Then I introduced something because this became such a controversy wherever I go. All the smart people come and attack me on that one. This will not work because it will be limited by the number of entrepreneurial poor. And I give our numbers that this is a massive number, it's working, we had no problem. So, well, for a while, but it won't. Then I thought maybe I should demonstrate that all people are entrepreneurs. So I was thinking what we can do. So I launched a separate program within Grameen Bank, focusing on beggars. Just lend money to beggars, see what they can do. Then we go and talk to the beggars, try to know their life story. How did she become a beggar? And some will say, no, my mother was a beggar, so I became a beggar, begging with her. Some said, well, I was not a beggar, I was a housewife. I have my children, I have my husband. Then this accident happened, this disaster happened in the family, my husband died, my Everybody died, so I have 3 kids. I tried to feed them. Nobody, neighbors, relatives give some, but then they are poor too. They can't survive. They can't help us. So I started taking some food from the neighbors, and gradually it became a standard practice. I started collecting food from neighbors, and it turned into begging. So after all this discussion, the one that we drop in the conversation by saying, as you go from house to house begging from your neighbors, would you care to sell something, carry some merchandise with you? Some cookies, some candy, some fruits, some toys for the kids. And we'll give you the money to do that. To make it sound simple, we said, you go there anyway. This is not this is not extra work for you. And then you have 2 things to do. You can beg, as usual, people can give you something free, or you can sell, or do both. So you have a better chance. And immediately they understood the point. It's nothing to lose. And we made our rules very simple. We told them that we'll give you the loan, someday you'll pay us back, but we will not give you a fixed date by which you have to pay us back. It's all open. So you'll never become a defaulter in the banking eye. And we'll not charge any interest for your loan, because this is our experiment. We'll give it interest-free, so this money will never grow. You can pay us back anytime you want. And once you pay us back, we'll lend you more, the amount that you want. And every time you pay us, you get more. They liked all the conditions. This started taking the money, started selling. And we thought maybe we'll have 1,000 or 2,000 borrowers from the beggars. They will take this as a problem and see what happens. My idea was, if the beggars show entrepreneurial ability, this is a salesmanship, so it's an entrepreneurial work, then I can go back and say, look, even the beggars have the entrepreneurial ability, and we will not train them. This is another decision. We will not train them, just leave them alone. But it became so popular. Very quickly, we have more than 100,000 beggars in that program. An amazing thing, they felt so happy. They were paying back. We said you could wait anytime you want to pay. If you don't want to pay, you can wait. But they were paying back. They were taking the second loan. And they're getting so smart in their business. They can tell you which house is good for begging, which house is good for selling, which hour is a good mood. I said, they didn't go to the Harvard Business School. But they understand market segmentation. I said, this is inherent in human beings. You don't have to go through big teaching and big courses and anything. You want to survive. You want to do things for yourself. One of the things our experts were telling me in the country, these poor people, poor women you're giving loan to, they have no skill. You have to train them. Unless you train them, they won't be able to use the money. I said, I'm giving them, they're using it, they're paying me back. Why you bring these issues? I said, no, you have to train them. They have no skill. Then I kept saying, look, they have the best skill in the life, survival skill. The fact that they're alive in such a hostile environment of their life tells a big story. They have a tremendous skill to overcome and fight with all the odds in their life. And that's the greatest skill of life. And what we're doing, we are supporting their survival skill. And they can find out what will be the next thing to do on their own. So coming back to the beggars, she became larger and larger. And soon, about in 3 years' time, we're going back to see what they're doing. Just about 25,000 beggars already quit begging completely. they became door-to-door salesperson because their sales are doing so good, they didn't have to depend on begging anymore. But my colleagues, my people who are working in Grameen Bank, they were becoming very impatient. Why don't they stop begging? Why don't they just sell? So I tried to restrain them. I said, look, don't push them. Begging is their core business. You don't close down your core business right away. You would have done the same thing, I said. So they are just opened their sales division. They have to feel how this sales division is doing, whether they will close down completely the core business and make this as their new business. So this is a process they have to go through themselves. We cannot bring it from outside. And luckily, that's the process they took. Gradually, they came out of begging and became regular Grameen Bank borrowers, meaning that they now pay interest, they take larger loans, and so on and so forth. What was the initial loan they took from us when we started this beggars program? $12, $15, $20 maximum. I said, if you can take one beggar out of this humiliating work of begging by lending her or by lending him $15, why shouldn't we do it? Is it too expensive to do it? Is it so difficult to do it? So this is the whole system is all about. We just walk away. We don't care. We make up all kinds of excuses, beautiful analysis, beautiful diagrams to show you how this is the fate. You challenge fate. We make our fate. Fate is not something that is given to us. Fate is what we build for ourselves. That's the fate. And we don't submit to whatever is presented to us. We create our world. So continue this process. And then people ask, how did you create those rules, procedures, that what we call now Grameen Bank? After all, this is a system you built, a process, lots of processes inside. I said, I don't know how all these things came about. It's very simple. I don't spend too much time. I didn't have any research team to do any research. Whenever I need a rule or a procedure to start something new or start something to fix up, I just look at the conventional banks, how they do it in such circumstances. Once I learn how they do it, I just do the opposite. It works out. And if you look at Grameen Bank, you see every single thing we do is just the opposite of what they do. They go to the rich, I go to the poor. Richer you are, more attractive you are. That's their motto. We reverse it. We said, poorer you are, more attractive you are. If you have nothing, you are the best in our life. We got you. Now we want to work with you. We literally reverse it completely. Conventional bankers looking at your wealth, your possessions, and what your net worth. We are looking at whatever you don't have. It's absolutely empty. The emptier you are, more exciting it is for us. We are looking for a house, single room. People live in a single room with a leaky roof, with no furniture inside. All you have, few pots and pans, cook, nothing else, no possessions. So we literally go and search room by room, person by person, to find this person who fits into this description. Then once we find it, we get excited. This is the person we are looking for. We train our staff to go and check, find the poorest person in the neighborhood, in the village, and then start from there and gradually build it up. Conventional banks want their clients, customers, to come to their office to do the business. We reverse it right away. Our principle was, still is, people should not come to the bank. Bank should go to people. So we go to people. do the work at their doorstep. Today, Grameen Bank has 8.5 million borrowers in Bangladesh. 97% of them are women. And all our work is done in a weekly cycle. Every week you put little money as your installment payment. And over a year, or whatever the term you have, you pay back the entire money. Which means bank has to go and meet all these 8.5 million borrowers in 85,000 villages of Bangladesh to meet them every week, to do business at their doorstep. So it's our job, not their job. They don't, excuse me, they don't leave their home. We go to them. And Bangladesh is a monsoon country, you know. Right now it's a pouring rain. Rain, shine, flood, whatever it is. Our work doesn't stop. We have to meet them, work with them. And our repayment record remained near about 97%. It never went down. So this is what the Grameen Bank is all about. And conventional banks want collateral. You have to have some wealth, some possessions, against which they will give you a loan. In Grameen Bank, we dismissed the whole idea of collateral. Said, poor people have nothing. We are looking for people who doesn't have anything. Why the question of collateral? So you give the loan as they are. So there is no collateral in Grameen Bank. And once you have the collateral in the conventional banks, collateral requires lawyers to pore over those documents and so on. So the conventional bank have to have lots of powerful lawyers around them. Grameen Bank is lucky. We don't have any lawyers. Grameen Bank is the only bank in the world which is lawyer-free completely. And it works. We had never a problem. And wherever this idea goes, same way, whether it is Bangladesh, whether it's Guatemala, whether it's Mexico, whether it's the United States, wherever, same system. Another thing, conventional banks are owned by rich people. If you own a bank, you have to be rich. And usually rich men. We reversed it. Grameen Bank is owned by the poor people, the borrowers. Since the borrowers are all women, so this is a bank owned by poor women. Since they own the bank, they sit in the board of the bank and make decisions of the bank. So it goes on and on. In conventional banks, if you're a client, if you want to borrow money from a conventional bank, you have to come and explain how expert you are in their business. You know everything about that business. You have to convince them that they're putting the money in the right hand. When we go in Grameen Bank to this poor woman who has nothing, leaky roof, one room, and so on, we tell them that Grameen Bank would like to lend you money so that you can start some work, business to do. She said, no, please don't give it to me. Why? Because I don't know anything. I don't know how to handle money. I'm afraid of money. So our life begins with a negation. She says, please don't give me money. See what a difference between the two banks. We said, no, we are with you. When our colleagues in the bank become very frustrated that we can't convince a woman to take a loan because she says, I can't handle it. I don't know what to do with money. Why should we go and give her money? I said, look, when she says, no, I don't know anything, I don't want to take money, always remember, this is not her voice. This is the voice of the history which created her. The history created so much fear in her. She's afraid of everything. Because she was always told, you are nothing, you're good for nothing, you are not able to do anything. So that's what she believes. She believes that she is causing trouble for the family being a woman. So she doesn't want to cause more trouble for the family. So our job is to go back to her again and again and build confidence in her and take out the fears layer by layer so that finally one of them maybe may come out and say, maybe I should take it. My life is so miserable, I cannot take it anymore. Let me take this jump. And she dares into this. Once she's successful in handling the money, then her neighbors become curious. How did she do it? Maybe I should do it too. And that's the beginning. All we wanted to do is to make the borrowers of Grameen Bank 50% women, not 100%, just 50%, because banks, conventional banks in Bangladesh don't lend money to women. Not even 1% of the bank client are women. So I thought it's completely wrong. So I was trying to correct that in my program. So I said, let's make it 50%. So that is the struggle we're going through at that time. It took us 6 years to come to 50-50 level. And we're so excited that finally we made it. Then we saw money going to the family through women brought so much more benefit to the family than the same amount of money going to the family through men. In every step, you can see that difference between the impact through the men, impact through the women. And seeing that it's always better with women, we said, forget about 50-50. We made the rule, we change it. We focus on women. Ever since, we have been focusing. As a result, 97% of our borrowers are women. Now we are working in the United States, in New York City. We have 6 branches in New York City with 20,000 borrowers, 100% women, so not a single man. And it works beautifully. Average loan is about $1,500. Repayment rate is 99.4%. And it's a very sustainable program. So other cities in the USA keep coming to us. Please help us. We have the same problem in our city. Do it in our city. So we are opening branches after branches. Now we have 2 branches in Los Angeles, 2 branches in San Francisco, and 1 branch in each in Houston, Texas, in Boston, in Indianapolis, Omaha, Nebraska, Charlotte, North Carolina, and so on and so forth. Exactly the same way. So this is what the microcredit is all about. It's now is a kind of a question to the whole world. Why don't we lend money to poor people? Previously, we were saying that it cannot be done. If you lend money to the poor people, it will never come back. So it's not a banking proposition at all. Today, it has been established in every single country in the world. It works. And in the beginning, you used to tell us, poor people are not credit-worthy. In the beginning, I tried to argue with them how credit-worthy they are, to show them. Now I don't show them anymore. I tell them, should the banks tell people that they're not credit-worthy? Or people should tell the banks that they're not people-worthy? Why did you change this? Who tells you to give verdict on the fate of the people? Just because you don't know how to do business with people, you're saying it's a fault lies with them, not with you? It's with you, not with them. Why don't you fix yourselves up and create a system where everybody has a chance to start their life, bring their creative power, and change their life along the way? So while I was doing all the microcredit with the Grameen Bank, and I see other problems of the poor people, problem of health, problem of housing, problem of sanitation, problem of children, and so on. So I started trying to see if I can do something on each one of them. Every time I see a problem, I create a business to solve the problem. And I created many, many such businesses, one after another. And they work and solve the problem. But this became a special kind of business. People keep asking questions, debating about it. Because these are the businesses that I created, had no intention of making profit out of this business. This is a non-dividend company to solve problems of the people. The investor can take back the investment money, but cannot take any more than that. The profit of the company is plowed back in the company to solve the problem. One such company, to give an example that we did in Bangladesh, we created eye care hospital. There are a lot of cataract patients in Bangladesh. Somehow, there are so many of them that there is no enough capacity in the country to do the cataract surgery. So all the cataract surgery capacity is in the capital city. So anybody who has problem in the village either have to come to the city or forget about it. And people got used to that. Traditionally, they got used to it because they think if you grow old, you see less. So this is nothing to be questioned. This is the way life treats you. But some found out that no, it can be done. It could be, you can be given a bright eyesight again, very good eyesight, by simple operations, simple surgery. So we thought, why don't we bring that capacity in the village? So we created an eye care hospital in the village. It's a beautiful eye care hospital with 10,000 cataract operation per year capacity. It's a social business, meaning it should cover its cost, but it's not something to make money for somebody. It's just to provide the facility to the people. And the first eye care hospital came to break-even point in 4 years. We are very happy we made it. It runs now. So we set up the second eye care hospital in another part of the country. That eye care hospital came to break-even point in 3 years. So we have the third eye care hospital. And the fourth is under construction now. Since each one of them will be paying back their money, as our system does, so we'll have enough money every year coming back from them to set up the fifth eye care hospital. And 5 of them will generate enough money to create the sixth eye care hospital. So it's an expanding system. If you had done it with a charity money, with a kind of a grant money, you will have hard time running one eye care hospital because every year you have to raise money. We have eye care hospital, please contribute some money so that we can pay the doctors and so on. Here, everybody is well paid, everybody gets their promotion, everybody gets everything because it's built in a way it covers its cost. Then the question, if it covers its cost, if you're charging people, what happens to the poor people? They cannot afford to pay. I said, yes, we'll take care of that because our whole idea is to serve them. So what we do, at the top, we charge the market price. It's a very good, efficient hospital. People love that. So they pay whatever will be charged in Dhaka, in the capital city, we charge you in the village. And instead of going to Dhaka, live there for several days, and it's will be too expensive for you. You come here, we do that. So they come, they do that, we do that. And we make money from them because market price means it includes the profit. So we cross-subsidize the poor people. We charge just $1 for the same surgery. With $1, he gets everything, she gets everything. So what we earn in the top, at the bottom we cover it, so whole hospital runs by its own money. And people love it. So now we are having a series of this eye care hospital. This is the simple idea of social business. And then young people in Grameen Bank, they are getting very frustrated because they have no job in the country. Because we have been in Grameen Bank for 40 years now. There are lots of young people grown up. They complain that there's no job. We said, who told you that you have to have jobs? That's a wrong thinking. Don't even think about jobs. They get shocked. He says, I want a job, I have an education, I went to college, I did my degree. I'm looking for a job. He said, who told you to get a job? So they said, then what should we do? He said, you repeat to yourself, you believe in your mind that I'm not a job seeker, I'm a job giver. They get very frustrated. They say, I don't have a job, now he tells me to become a job giver. He's making jokes with us. I said, no, I'm not making jokes. I said, your mother's mother owns a bank. Your mother's bank has unlimited money. Why are you looking for a job for somebody else? Why can't you start a business to hire people and work for you? And that's what you should do. They said, we have no business experience. We don't know how to, nobody told us. I said, you are absolutely wrong. Look at your mother. She started with Grameen Bank 25 years back, taking a loan of $30. And the day she took that loan, she was shaking. She was so nervous. And tears were rolling down her eyes. Cannot believe somebody put so much money in her hand. She never saw so much money in her life. And somebody gave this money in her hand. And she promised to her, if anybody had trusted her with all this money, she will give her life to make sure that trust is kept. And she worked very hard to make it happen. And she kept that trust. And that trust in 25 years, she has never broken. And in the meantime, she has built her business. Whatever business she was in, from $30, she went $50, $100, $1,000, and that's what she did. And in the meantime, you are born, you went to school, you went to college. Now you're saying you have no business experience. You can't start a business. Did your mother have business experience when she took $30 loan? Nothing. But she dared into it. She stood firm and made it happen. She promised that she'll pay every penny of this money. She did. What good is your education if you're not better than your illiterate mother? Your mother never went to school, but she took her life in her own way and made sure she can make it. And you went to school, you learned so many things, you now say, I don't know anything. You are a lucky person. Your mother owns a bank, and then your mother is the resident consultant for your business. She will give all kinds of advice for how to run a business because she knows it. You don't have to go to somebody else. Just pick up what she has done and make it 10 times big, 50 times big. That's your business. Now they are coming, and we create a social business fund so that if you can come up with the business idea, we'll invest so you don't have to worry about money. It's not a loan, it's equity participation. We are your angel investor. We invest your business, and your job is to make sure you successfully run this business and return the money that we have invested in you. Exactly the same amount, because in social business, we don't want any profit. So we just return whatever we give you, whatever time period you need. And then it's all yours, you go. Why do you have to sit around? You have ideas after ideas. So now they are coming, we're investing out of the social business fund. And people tell me unemployment is such a big problem. I say, I don't see any problem. You created that problem by calling it unemployment, meaning that he needs an employment. If you're seen as an entrepreneurship, you wouldn't see unentrepreneurship. There's no such word. But he or she is an entrepreneur. Treat him as an entrepreneur. Build institutions to support that entrepreneur, and he will become an entrepreneur. Then we look around at the educational institutions, everything we do, as if these are factories making workers to work in companies and so on and so forth. I said, human beings are not robot-like workers, come out of the universities and go for a job and so on. Human beings are much, much bigger than robot. Human beings is a magnificent creation. It's enormous creative capacity in them, unlimited capacity. All our life, all we try to do, unleash and see a little bit of it at least. Some people are lucky, they find a little bit. Some people are so unlucky, they never find out that they have something creative inside. And our job, collectively as a society, is to create an environment so that we can unleash as the maximum of our creative capacity. That's not what we do. We block it out. We say, go and get a job. Getting a job is almost like saying you follow a very narrow path, and that's what you are. So we are saying that if you had taken another path of creative path, creative entrepreneurial activity, whole world will be different. Today, we have unemployment, we have poverty, we have environmental degradation all together. All because the way we created the world. See, poverty is not created by poor people. Poverty is created by the system. And I give the example of bonsai. You know this little tree, bonsai? I said, you take the best seed in the tallest tree, put it in a flower pot, and it grows this big, and we call it bonsai. It looks cute. And we wonder, why didn't it grow as tall as the one we saw in the forest? Is there something wrong with the seed? No, nothing wrong with the seed. Simply you put it in a flower pot. It didn't have enough base to grow on. That's why it grew only this much and looks like the same tree. I say, poor people are bonsai people. There's nothing wrong with their seed. Simply society never gave them the base, just like everybody else. Didn't give the base so that they look like human being, but they're poor human being because they didn't get the opportunity to unleash their capacity. Is it the fault of that person? Poor person? No. It's a fault of the system. As a poverty is imposed on people. Poverty is not self-grown from inside. So if it is imposed from outside, why don't we change the outside so that it cannot impose on people? So that people can grow on their own. And that's the kind of thing we have to do. Because today's world we built in such a narrow way. We don't have time to do that. Because we are so busy making money. Because the world has been built on businesses which are geared towards making money. The more money you make, the more successful you are. In the process, we become money-making robots. We have no time to look at anything else. So when we bring the social business idea, it changes. Suddenly we are delinked from making personal profit. Suddenly we see the world completely differently, that we can now solve problems. We can have a world that we would love to have. And young people love this idea that yes, I can use my creative power to create a world that I like. And it's all about using your creative power. Each one of the business that we do in social business that we have been doing is not something earth-shattering idea. It's a very simple idea. Like the eye care hospital, it's not a big idea. All you have to do is make up the mind, I don't want to make money. Make up the mind that I want to serve the poorest as well as the richest, doesn't matter. So that each supports each other within the system. That continues. And when I say we can handle the unemployment issue, the unemployment should not be here in this planet. All we have to do is to create a social business. Anybody can design a social business to take 5 unemployed people, create a business to absorb them within the business, and business runs by itself and takes care of all the salaries and the expenses of the business. And you have a business which takes care of 5 unemployed people. They are no longer unemployed. I created this business because I wanted to solve the problem of 5 unemployed people, not to make money. If I had to make money, then I'll be thinking of something else. I will not worry about the 5 people. I'll see where I can make the best of it if I put this money. Should I put it in the stock market? Should I put it somewhere? I'll think about it. The moment I say I'm not interested in making money, I'm interested in solving this problem. At least 5 people I can do, and I'll feel happy that I've done that. And it runs by itself. I get my money back. Still, I have the company and 5 people are working there. And all the profit that company makes goes back to the company, and it expands. Anybody can do that. If I can solve the problem of 5 unemployed people, if I repeat the idea, I can solve the problem of all unemployed people. It's no big deal. It's a question of what we want to do. So social business opens up the door. It's a question of whether we want to do it or not. Some people say, would the businesses be interested in it? I said, I see a lot of businesses are interested in it. Now we have joint ventures of big businesses like Danone in France, Veolia in France, water company to bring clean water in the village. Not for making money for Veolia, making sure people don't have to drink arsenic-contaminated water in the village of Bangladesh. No profit for the company, but it's a sustainable business. That's what we want to do. We have joint venture with a Canadian company, McCain. We have a joint venture in Colombia. We try to help the farmers in Colombia who lost all their farming activity because coffee failed in Colombia. So we're bringing potato instead. We are growing potato and they're happy. Joint venture with McCain, and they will have a good income for themselves. And that's the whole intention of the joint venture companies, to make sure we give good income for the people, farmers in Colombia. So this is another joint venture. Universities are becoming interested. They want to teach social business as an option. And some of the universities, like HSC in Montreal, they want to set up a social business center so the students can learn and make sure they understand it and can use it, the idea, and so on. So this is how we can redesign the whole idea of the world. We can create a world where nobody will be a poor person because it's not in them, it's outside of them. We can create something, institutions, changes, so that they can become active in changing their own life. There is no reason why anybody should be unemployment anywhere in the world. And I keep repeating the word unemployment should become unemployed. That's the best thing we can do. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for that very inspirational talk. I should say the rule is that guests sit here. So
Yeah.
you've done the right thing to sit there.
Thank you.
We have a few minutes for questions. We have 2 microphones. We're not going to be able to take a lot, and so I suggest that you organize yourselves and get to one of the 2 microphones. And while you do that, I'd like to ask you 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I guess the first one would be when you got into this with that first loan in 1976, and here you are now with hospitals, hospital insurance, Danone, McCain. Did you ever think it would turn out this way?
No, not at all. As I said, I did it out of desperation. I was not in a plan. So it was a jump in the unknown, darkness. I had no idea whether people will like it or people will continue with it. So it was a jump, and then everything I did since then is 1 step. I didn't know what would be the second step at all. I'll do any second step. So it's always something I do, and as a reaction, something happens, and I want to address that thing. I was still not seeing beyond my immediate neighborhood. So that's how it worked. Every time it was something of an obstacle which came, and I was trying to tackle that obstacle, and in the meantime, I found a way to get to the next step. So that way we say it was not, I didn't have a kind of a planned blueprint. This is what I'll do. And all these joint ventures, I had no idea what there's a company called McCain exists. I had never heard of the name. I never heard what Danone, because Danone doesn't work in Bangladesh. I have no idea what Danone is. They approached us, and that was the beginning. And there's exploration of understanding who they are. And then explaining to them, since they want to do social business, what kind of social business they can do. So we thought together and came up with an idea. They liked it, and we said, we are with you. Let's go ahead and do it. So we would do with Danone, McCain, Veolia, BSF from Germany, Otto from Germany, then Uniqlo from Japan, Intel Corporation from USA. With each one of them, we have joint ventures as a social business. So we are saying every business can run a parallel business of social business. Just because I run a money-making business doesn't mean that I'm immune from everything else. I said, why don't you do something on the side? You have the technology, you have the understanding, you know people. If you put your mind in solving any one of these problems will disappear just like that. But you don't do that because you're stuck with this format that you have. I'm saying, why don't you open the door so that you come out? Because as long as you're glued to the screen of the stock market performance, you'll never come to here because this is not accommodated there. So you have to step outside. Here you don't have any stock market screen anymore. You are totally free and you do your things on your own way. And then you see all the creative power which you did not use in your company suddenly becomes very valuable in addressing the problem of the poor people, old people, immigrants, all the kind of things we see as a problem around the world, children, homeless people, whatever problem you see.
Great. I suggest we take a group of questions. Keep your questions brief if you might, and briefly introduce yourself as well so we know who we're talking to. Start with the microphone to my left.
So my name is Dee. My question is, where did the original resources for starting the bank come from? Because you're talking about the restrictive system, right? That there are all these ways that work that just restrict the resources to the rich people. So for the original bank that you started, where did you find those original resources?
Question on this side.
I hope this is clear. My question is, when we talk about these joint ventures and these large corporations being involved, and the premise of the Grameen Bank being really the individuals and the poverty, how do you see the balance happening between these joint ventures, which will be creating this employment in a different light, as opposed to the individuals, where it's being, I guess, driven through something? How do you see that balancing out? My concern, I guess, is that the corporations coming in might, at some point, create similar situations that we needed the Grameen Bank to solve.
Thank you.
One more question here. We'll take 4 and then come back to you. Okay?
Hi, Don Balanoff. Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you.
My question is, how do you deal with situations that I've experienced in real life, and that is people who seek power and are addicted to power and money and are perhaps selfish? And then how do you deal with psychoses on both the lender side and then the people that are also working for you? Thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
My name is Shanawaz. I'm from Bangladesh, and I did my PhD research on microfinance, and I compared BRAC, Grameen Bank, and Asha in my study. And I did around 6 months study in the village in Kumilla, Sadukpur. So one of my actually findings is over there that although I agree with you, and it's very inspirational lecture you provided today, and also I attended with you some other international conferences, and always we are very inspirational. Thank you very much for your inspiration to inspire to work for the poor people. My observation in my study, I saw that definitely poor people has the entrepreneurial skills, what you mentioned. But is it possible to arrange some kind of, although you argue you already overruled that argument, providing skills training, but if you do not provide skills training, then from the traditional activities, the return from the traditional activities is very low compared to when someone has the skills. So instead of doing it by Grameen Bank, there is different government departments in the upazila level, like for example, agricultural department, fisheries department, livestock department. Is it possible for you to do some collaboration with this department? They will provide their training, not Grameen Bank, but inspire them to include for their training. And if they get that training, then their income generation will be multiplied in respect of fisheries, in respect of farming, in respect of livestock, in respect of chick rearing. So that's my argument over here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Connecting skills to finance, where did the first tranche come from, and the psychoses and politics of lending?
The first one about the resources, of where did the resources come? As I said, I just jumped at the unknown. I was not even bothered about the resources. I just took the money from my pocket. That was the resource. That's the loan that I gave to people. So the idea was, I didn't like the way the loan sharks are kind of squeezing the every single poor person to get everything out of them by putting very unreasonable conditionalities imposed on them by the loan given to them. So I said, I cannot see what the solution is, but I can take this for few people, I can solve the problem. Why don't I lend the money myself? If I lend the money, then they don't have to go to loan sharks, problem is solved for them. So that was the idea, that's the jump I took, this small money. And then other people start coming. Then I start my own money, using my money as much as I could. Then as I was running out of my money, I went to the bank, which is, tell them, why don't you lend the money? I'm running out of my money. Said, no, bank cannot do that. If you want to do it, you go ahead. I said, but I'm running out of money, you come and do that. So they will not do. They simply said it's not the rule of the bank to lend money to the poor people, it's impossible. So I became a big pestering machine for them, pestering every time, why don't you open your door for the poor people and so on. Ultimately, after several months, then I came up with another idea. I told the banks, why don't you accept me as a guarantor? I'll sign all your papers and I take the risk and you give the money. That was not easily accepted, but it took 3 more months. Finally, they agreed to that they will accept me as a guarantor and give the money. So that was the second part of it. And it solved the problem, because since they are paying back the money, that was never stopped. I kept signing blindly. I don't know what papers they're giving me, but I keep on signing, and they give the money. So that way, resource issue was not very strong with me, because I could overcome that issue. Then I thought I should create a separate bank, because this bank is not as quick in making decisions as I would like them to. Why don't I create my own bank? Then I created the bank called Grameen Bank, or Village Bank, mobilizing the money that borrowers have already saved in their savings account. Told them, why don't you put your money into this bank, and then you'll own the bank. And that's what they did. So the money, investment money came from them. But since we could borrow money from the central bank, we could borrow money from other banks, so in the initial period, we continued to borrow from the central bank to lend money to poor people. But gradually, since we became a bank, we started taking deposits. Whichever deposit we get, we use the money to lend money. And that became our mainstay. So that was the one that we found solution for that. At the early stages, we want to move faster than we could mobilize deposit. So we took money that time from CIDA Canada, Canadian International Development Agency. They provided us money. Swedish International Development Agency, Foreign Aid Agency, they gave us some money. So together we could expand. German Foreign Aid Agency, they gave us some money. So we could quickly expand to more branches. But after that, we said, no, we don't want to take money from outside. We have enough money within ourselves. Since 1995, we have not taken any money from anybody from outside. It's all internally generated money. We lend out right now over $1.5 billion each year. And all the money comes from within the system. And most striking thing is, today the borrowers deposit the money that they save, all these 8.5 million borrowers, amounts more than $1.5 billion. So the loan they get in a way is smaller than the money they put in our bank. So this is a kind of a new kind of phenomenon that not only they don't need money from outside, even the depositors, other than Grameen Bank borrower, what they put in, we don't have to use it as a loan. So this is a kind of additional money that we got. So money was never a serious problem for the entire history of Grameen Bank. Joint venture, Yes, joint venture is each one is aimed at a particular problem. Like Danone joint venture was aiming at the malnutrition of the children of Bangladesh. Half the children of Bangladesh are malnourished. So we created this company to produce a special kind of yogurt with all the micronutrients which are missing in the children. We put the micronutrients like vitamin, iron, zinc, iodine, etc. into that cup of yogurt. And it becomes a very powerful medicine for the kids. But it's very delicious. Children don't know that they're taking medicine for them. They know that they're taking delicious yogurt. If a child eats this yogurt over a period of 9-10 months, they recover all the macronutrients and become a healthy child. So that's how we sell a product. This is different from Grameen Bank. Grameen Bank lends money, doesn't sell a product. But this company sells a product. We want to make sure these products reaches out to the poor families because that's where the malnutrition is at the highest level. So we have a door-to-door sales service out of this company. So they make sure that the village women take it as their job to sell things and get a commission by selling it. So they make an extra income, but they reach out to the families in their neighborhood. So that's the way. And Veolia is a water company, joint venture water company. We bring clean water in the village. So there's a water treatment plant in the village, and then have a running water, piped water in the village. People can bring their jar and pay a small amount of money and fill up the jar and have a clean water. They don't have to depend on the arsenic contaminated water. It's a very high level of arsenic. It's not just a small amount. It's a life-threatening level of arsenic. So we're trying to make sure that we can build it up as a kind of social business. Normally, what you do, it's a charity program. You bring free water, give water to everybody. If you start an NGO to distribute free water to the villages, which has an arsenic contamination problem, then always you are raising money to run a program. Because in charity, money goes and does a work, and money doesn't come back. So you have to go back again to raise money to do the same thing. When we designed it as a social business, money that goes out, it comes back because you are a business. So you can recycle this money again and again. You are not dependent on anybody outside. The social business money has endless life, where charity money has only one life. So that is the difference between the power of the both. So in social business, these are all independent. This has nothing to do with Grameen Bank. Each company is an independent company. They produce their service, they sell their products, and independently they are trying to solve one aspect of the problem that we see. So each one of them has a different goal in solving problems in social business way, whether it's a joint venture, whether standalone company running a business like Eye Care Hospital. Eye Care Hospital is a social business. It's nothing to do with Grameen Bank, but it's a treatment of the cataract is the focus of the business, Eye Care Hospital. So that's how it has been designed. Selfishness, of course, is a very strong thing, selfishness. But I'm saying that along with selfishness, equally strong is selflessness, which we never discovered before, because system doesn't allow us to discover. I try to remind that money making is a great happiness. The more money you make, more happy you get. But making other people happy is a super happiness. So you can just go and do that thing. So selflessness come into the picture. So you don't dismiss anything. You don't dismiss the selfishness. You don't dismiss the selflessness. Here, in the conventional world of economics, you are only recognizing selfishness. You are not recognizing the selflessness. And that's why all the other things are missed out. I'm bringing selflessness into the picture and giving people option. Today there is no option. So you can pick up whichever you want and how you want to go ahead with it. And as I said, young people love this idea that they have something to do, they can feel worthwhile, that they can play a role. And I tell the young people that each young person, not all together, each young person has the capacity to change the whole world. So it's a question of using that. I said, I remind them, if you don't use that power, this power will be wasted. It will be never known to you, never known to the whole world that you had that power. So believe in your power and make sure you use it. Find out what purpose you use it. That's the important thing. About the Bangladesh situation, microfinance, and so on, and the training, we started with saying that they have the basic skill of survival, and we can do that. And if anybody wants to learn, they can learn from each other. They can go to government facilities, whatever the training. We are not stopping anybody. We are saying that you don't have to wait for training to come to you first. The way you are already prepared. Go right ahead. Then as you become aware that you need some special skill, go ahead. If it's available to anybody, you do that. So this is your job. You can do that. And we create some social business solutions to that. We created a nursing college to bring the girls from Grameen families who are sitting around at home doing nothing because there's no job, nothing else to do. So we said, why don't you come to the nursing college? We'll give you a nursing training as a social business. So Grameen Bank gives them the loan. They come to the nursing college, and nursing college gives them a very good nursing training, and they become good quality nurses. And they get immediately absorbed in the hospital system in Bangladesh, because Bangladesh has a serious problem, shortage of nurses. We have a peculiar doctor-nurse ratio. There are 3 doctors per nurse. So you can imagine how difficult that situation is. And nobody does anything about it. So we said, let's try that as a social business. We'll train up the young girls to become nurses. And literally, hospitals line up at the nursing college to take the whole batch of the whole nurses for their hospital. They compete with each other. Who can pay how much? Because there's no nurses. And these are very good quality nurses. And they are international product too. They can work in the international facility if they want. And internationally, there's more than 100,000 nursing jobs available in the world. And everybody is trying to catch as many nurses as possible to come to their country to fill up those slots. So this is a very attractive thing. So we thought, why don't we create a nursing college? And now that this one is working, and it's paying itself as a social business, like the eye care hospital, we want to have the second campus and the third campus and the fourth campus, because it all pays for itself. So we can go on nursing, training as many nurses as we can, because there are so many nurses and required both in Bangladesh or internationally. So this is one example of a social business giving the training. And then we open up as a joint venture with a Japanese company to train auto mechanic. We have lots of cars in Bangladesh which are used cars coming from Japan and other countries. So they need to be repaired much more frequently than a new car. But we don't have much good facility for mechanics and so on. So we have set up, we are in the process, we're not completed yet. The joint venture is working. They were setting up the auto mechanic training school. We'll train auto mechanic to go out and start their own auto mechanic shop, and we will do the investment from social business fund so that they can set up their own workshops and so on. So that's another one. Then we have social businesses on producing plumbers, electricians, technicians, textile machine operators, and so on and so forth. So that you can go through a quick training program and have a certificate and go and work. If you don't have those kind of certificates, then you have to work at the very bottom. You're taking as a kind of intern, unpaid intern. So you work for years and years, don't get any payment because you never had any experience. They said, no, we are teaching you. You should be paying us rather than we should pay you. So it's a very simple thing. So we are getting them to have this basic knowledge and have a certificate. They can produce the certificate, say that, yes, we know how to operate this machine, you can take a test, already I passed this exam. Then they can start with the salary. So this is another one. And doing that as a social business. So this is how the training can be addressed. These are specific facilities. Yes, people need training, but they can get ready for that training and register themselves and go through the program.
Great. Look, I know there are more questions, but we're running over, and Dr. Yunus has another engagement, so with great apologies, we will end at this point. But really to say to you, thank you so much for inspiring us in a way and recognizing that when we connect a strong moral compass with the innate entrepreneurship and ability that absolutely everyone on this planet has, the end result is all the things you stand for and have achieved, and for which thank you so much for joining the day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.